Okay, photosynthesis. So we need to learn how photosynthesis happens, and you've learnt about this in your earlier years in GCSE and in year 9, even going back to year 8 and 7. So a plant is like a factory. It's a system. We're going to talk more and more about systems in environmental systems and societies. So this is a nice simple one. We've got energy coming in to the plant system, and that is helping the plant to convert the atmospheric gas carbon dioxide, and it's taking that carbon and converting it into a high energy food, the carbohydrate. So it's combining water that comes in through the roots with carbon from carbon dioxide that comes in through the leaves, and it's using the sun's energy to combine those to form a carbohydrate. The waste gas that is produced, we don't usually think of oxygen as being a waste, but to the plant it's waste. It doesn't need it. It's a byproduct of photosynthesis. So the oxygen actually leaves through the leaves. Water can also escape from the leaves through a process called transpiration. So every organism on Earth needs some way to get energy, and there's lots of different solutions to that. Animals, including us, we get it from eating plants and from eating other animals. And most plants, and as well as protists, which are small microorganisms, and some bacteria get it from sunlight. And there are also some organisms that get the energy from the heat in the Earth's core, so we call them chemosynthetic organisms, and they live in the deep seas. But we're not going to consider those here, they're quite rare. So here's our plants. They're going to get their energy from sunlight, bacteria, and protists. But how exactly do they do this? Okay, well, photo means light. That's where we talk about a photograph. And synthesis means to put parts together. Just like you do in your English class, you form a whole essay, okay, form a whole thing from different parts, and you combine it to create a new meaning or a structure. So photosynthesis is putting things together from light. We're putting carbon together with hydrogen to form carbohydrates. When the light energy reaches the leaf, only some of it is absorbed for photosynthesis. Some of it is reflected, some of it is transmitted. Carbohydrates are high energy foods. Now you've got light energy entering the plant and being converted to chemical energy. You then eat that food and convert that chemical energy in the food into chemical energy in your body that can be used for kinetic energy, for you to move around, and for other chemical processes. So we start with the sun, and from there we can get all the different types of foods that we know. So let's take chocolate for an example. So for chocolate, it contains sugar and cocoa. Sugar and cocoa are both plants, so they are getting their energy from the sun. So the plants are taking in carbon dioxide and water, and using the sun's energy, they are creating glucose, which gives us some of the sweetness in the chocolate, and they're releasing oxygen. This then is the formula for photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide and water gives us carbohydrates and oxygen. In this case, the specific kind of carbohydrate is glucose. The plant can also store energy. So just as we will get carbon from eating, the plant is getting carbon or carbohydrates from photosynthesizing, and it stores those for later use. We store them as fats, but this one, the plant will store them as starches. And some plants have specialized storage organs like tubers, as you can see here in this potato. And so these are going to be very starchy foods that we eat, the ones that have storage units.